Hi, this is Josh from theslotreport.com. I wanted to film, it's been a while since I filmed one of my video logs, so I thought I would film a video log of a couple of tips that I usually give white belts. This isn't like all the other tips, it's not exclusive to white belts. It is applicable to blue belts, purple, brown, black, but it's something I like to implant in people's heads early on when they first start jiu-jitsu because it's very helpful. Two tips. The first one relates to how you think about the techniques that you're trying to apply. So when you do a move, when you do a choke, you should have a pretty clear idea of what you're trying to accomplish. Obviously, if you do a choke, you're trying to choke or strangle somebody. But I mean, have a more clear idea. So for example, if you're doing an X choke, what you're trying to accomplish is you're trying to use some part of your wrist, hand, or forearm to cut off these two carotid arteries right here. And that's the goal. Artery 1, Artery 2. If you close those off, after a certain period of time, your opponent should fall asleep or they should tap. What happens sometimes is when people go for a choke or an armbar, if you go for an armbar, your goal is to cause damage to the elbow joint of your opponent's arm. So sometimes when people learn a move and they start practicing the move, they think about, they get caught up in the technique and they get caught up in the move and the detail and blah, 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 but they lose sight of what they're actually trying to accomplish. And if you lose sight of what you're trying to accomplish, when you're actually sparring, what happens is you focus too much on the shape of the move. You focus too much on, okay, my hands are doing the X like they're supposed to, and I'm doing the thing with my wrist, but nothing's happening. You forget that your hands are supposed to be here and your wrists are supposed to do this in order to cut the two carotid arteries off. So if you always keep a clear picture of what you're trying to accomplish in a technique in your head, then if you're trying to do an X choke and the person's not choking, you can look and see, okay, well, do I have both arteries cut off? If I have that condition met, then the person should either pass out or tap. If I have an arm lock and they're not tapping and my hips are in a weird spot, maybe I need to adjust my hips so that they can lift and do damage to the elbow. Or maybe I need to pull the wrist down more in order to lift my hips and get more, take the slack out of the joint and finish the arm lock. So point number one, keep in your head the whole time a clear picture of what you're trying to accomplish with the move. A sweep, you're trying to knock the person over and get on top of them in a variety of different ways. You guys get what I'm saying. I don't have to go crazy with this one. So do everything with the end goal in mind. The other tip that I wanted to share is this relates specifically to chokes. If I'm doing a choke, when I teach chokes to newer students, what happens is they'll get their hands in the right spot and they'll do the stuff with the wrist, or they do the stuff with the wrist, or they pull, or they do everything right, and they only hold it for 1 second, or 2 seconds, or 3 seconds, and they go, the fuck, the choke's not working. This is bullshit. Your teaching sucks. They don't really say that, but when they do the choke, they go here, why didn't it work? And when they're doing the choke, I'm just looking at them like, go ahead, choke me, I don't give a shit. I don't say that, but I'm giving them that look. What I'm getting at here is when you choke somebody, you have to hold the choke for 10 to 15 seconds. That's like a good minimum. Say 15 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, etc. Count in your head. Because what happens if you hold a choke for 5 seconds or 4 seconds, or even 8 seconds sometimes, you'll get somebody who's just looking at you like, go ahead, choke me, I don't give a shit. But in their head, they're going, dude, this guy's got me, it's a really tight choke. But they're playing poker face. They don't want you to know that you have a tight choke. They want you to second guess yourself and let go of the choke and move on to something else. So when you first start, my recommendation is when you go for a choke, a rear naked choke, an X choke, a sliding collar choke from the back, a bow and arrow choke, hold the choke for 15 seconds. Just count in your head 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000. Keep on going. And then if the choke is not working after 15 seconds, then you probably need to adjust. And there's probably a flaw in your technique. But what'll happen is, like I said before, if you hold it for 3 seconds, people can hold out and they can have a poker face and they won't indicate that they're choking. Chokes don't work immediately, they need time to work. And people who want to hold out or have a poker face, or even sometimes have a neck that is somehow anatomically difficult to choke, they can hold out for a little bit. So to recap, tip number 1 is always have a clear picture of what you're trying to accomplish, what your end goal is with your techniques. And then tip number 2 is, if you're going for a choke, get your hands in whatever you think is the proper place to apply the choke, and then apply the pressure for the choke without break for 15 seconds. So not press on the gas, take the foot off the gas, press on the gas, take the foot off the gas. Keep the foot on the gas the whole 15 seconds, and then you'll have a clear picture of whether or not you have a real choke or not. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think. Oh, and if you like this stuff, sign up for the Sloth Report, www.theslothReport.com. It's $5 a month. You can cancel whenever you want. I don't care. It's good tips, concepts, techniques, stuff like that. Yeah, just sign up. It's cheap. You'll like it.